The regular meeting of the Richmond Board of Education will come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start the meeting here, I have a couple of announcements. First off, we want to acknowledge a member of our school community. We're keeping one of our students and her mother in our thoughts following a serious car accident. On behalf of the board, we extend our heartfelt support to their family during this difficult time and wish them strength and healing. I'd also like to acknowledge one of our retired bus drivers who was with the district for 25 years. She passed away, and again, we'd like to keep her family in our thoughts and prayers. I have one other statement. We kindly remind attendees that board meetings are attended for board business and discussion among the board members. To ensure meetings run smoothly and fairly, we ask that members of the public refrain from speaking during our meeting. If you need to talk, please step out in the hallway. Thank you. Okay, at this time, Sandy, if you could please read our mission and vision statement and take roll.
The mission statement here is at Richmond Community Schools, we provide a quality education that empowers students to be successful in the global community. And our vision statement of Richmond Community Schools is to foster a culture of academic excellence, creativity, and character, ensuring that all students are prepared for success in an ever-changing world. Board Member Cunningham. Here. Board Member McCann.
Here.
Board Member Sutton.
Here.
Board Member Steyer.
Here.
Board Member Telto.
Here.
Board Member Gillis.
Here.
I am Board Member Fortuna. I am here. We have a quorum. And we also have our student representative, Kelsey McNamara, is here. And then Elizabeth Schaefer is, I think, coming in late due to cheerleading. So late with notice.
Thank you. This time I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Support. Thank you. Any discussion? This is a roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Candace?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion carries. Looking for a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved. Support.
Any discussion? It's a roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Candace?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion carries. Next item on our agenda is our presentation for an overnight extended trip. Ms. Warwick, I think that's, did I?
You didn't ask if there were any questions on the consent?
I did. I thought I did.
Did you? Oh, I didn't hear you say that.
No.
No?
The regular agenda, you said, is there any discussion?
I thought I did. Okay, let me go back.
Sorry. If you did, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you say
Okay.
that.
So we have a motion, we have a support. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
I just, did Ray get this
I did.
amended?
Ray, you have an email from me.
Okay, let me,
It's just put at the table to us, Ray, is an amended copy of the personnel report. And just so everyone on the board knows, I had asked some questions about the personnel report, and I got responses back from Billy and Sarah. So I don't know if you guys were going to say something about my questions, but this amended document answers all my questions. So I don't know if you guys were going to say something, but I asked, there was an 8th grade boys basketball coaching opening, and I just asked about that because I knew boys basketball had already started. That should have been taken off. And then I asked some questions about our spring sports coming up, like what was the status of that, and so I was told that those jobs are being interviewed, and I asked about the mechanic position because I had a conversation with Sarah, wondering, what kind of applications were coming, how is that going about getting a mechanic, and she was concerned at the time whether we would get some. And Sarah, if you want to say that what you told me so everybody knows.
Sure, we actually ended up with 3 very good candidates, 2 of which were moving to second interviews on Wednesday.
And then I asked about the early literacy coach and the speech and language teacher, just kind of like an update, what's going on with those spots. So Billy answered me on that.
Yeah, so the speech and language will continue to have posted. If you recall, we have currently, that's a contracted position. So we went from a virtual contractor, and now we have the in-person speech therapist that's working with us, but it is still a contracted position. So for the REA contract, we do have to keep it posted in that effort to find someone that we can hire in from the district side. And so it is filled, but as a contractor. And then the educator on loan, we also did those interviews and are in kind of the final processes of filling that. We have 2 very viable candidates, so we should have that on, I would imagine, the next first hour.
And then I asked the question that the middle school district newsletter, that spot was open, so I just asked them who was doing getting the information from the middle school for the newsletter.
And that's one of those lucky other duties as assigned for a principal when something's not filled. And so Ms. Morella and Mr. Knight have been taking care of that for us. But Mr. Knight said he has a couple of people he's kind of tapping on the shoulder, so we're working on that one.
And then my last one was the spring music director there. That was blank, and so I asked about that, and that was already filled, just the name wasn't on there.
Yeah, so the 2 folks that do it kind of take turns. One does it in the fall and the other one does it in the spring, and then they flip-flop roles, and so we just want to make sure we know which one was doing it this time versus the other. But it's our same 2 individuals that have been doing it for the last few years, couple years.
Because I knew we were doing something in the spring, so I just asked why the music director was blank. So thank you to them for answering and giving us the updated. So that's why you were getting an updated copy.
All right, thank you.
Anyone have any other questions? Okay, we're going to re-vote. All in favor? Oh, wait a minute, roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Sandy? Aye. Candace?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. Now, Ms. Forward, you may come on up about our proposed extended trip with DECA.
Thanks for having me. Obviously, I'm here to get the approval for the overnight DECA state tournament. The information that was provided to you, the event takes place March 5th through the 7th. They're expecting over 4,500 members with advisors at the event. It'll be taking place at the Huntington Place in downtown Detroit. If you don't know a lot about DECA, it's an event that allows our students to work on their leadership and professional skills in the area of marketing, finance, hospitality, and management. We are lucky enough to have 5 students who qualified. Only 4 most likely will be in attendance. Margaret Gesquire will be going for entrepreneurship and individual series. Julia Hopgood will be going for principles of economics. Courtney Moore for marketing. Autumn Widmeyer for accessories and appeal marketing. And Elizabeth Shaver is the one that qualified, but she has a conflict because that's the same weekend as the state cheer competition. So she has been able to attend the last 2 years, so she's qualified for 3 years, so I think it's worth mentioning. She's a state, contender for 3 years in a row for this as well. So I know it's a tough choice, but looks like cheer might be the way she's going. So big thank you to Ms. Christensen, our advisor. She couldn't be here tonight, and also Ms. Fields, who's also a judge for us at the event. I guess I'm here if you have any questions, or obviously just want to thank you for the consideration in advance. So.
I feel like there's more and more kids every year.
I was just going to say that too.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the last 2 years, the first year I think we had the most. I think there was maybe, don't quote me, I would say there was at least 5 or 7 that first year. Last year we had 2, and then this year we obviously have 5 qualify. So it's in comparison to about 2 years ago, we had at least probably 5 or 7. So, yeah. So Mrs. Christensen does a great job, and I will say, Ms. Ava and I attended 2 years ago. It's a busy weekend for us at the high school with a lot of different events going on, but she does a really good job taking the kids and exposing them to a lot of the different opportunities down there. Takes them to dinner, does all the things that are downtown, so I just think it's a good opportunity for our kids as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Now, do they compete, each one of the girls, is it just one time in an event?
See, and they have a scheduled event, and Ms. Fields can probably speak to, because she is a judge, but they have a specific time in which that particular thing that they're competing in takes place.
Okay, so it's just a one time for that
Yes.
event?
Like, depending on what category you're going to go into, they'll give you a time frame. But between that time, the students are doing other stuff. It's very active down there. Kids are everywhere, and it's very eventful. But when it's time for them to do the role play, that's what I judge for. They will be there on time, and then they have time to get their presentation together, and then they're with the judge. And it's all business attire, so the students are all in suits.
Is there a way that we could get like a schedule, such, like, that would tell us, just in case we have a change, something emailed that says what time they're, and are people able to watch?
Yes.
Not in.
No.
Oh, so when they actually do their thing, you can't watch them do it?
No.
Okay.
They get called into the
Judge's
judge's
room,
place
so to
where,
speak.
yeah, I mean, and the kids are there getting their presentation together. It is timed, and then they're walked over to where the judges are, and we're in like little draped areas, and then they present only to us, and then they leave, and they have to leave all their information with the judge, and then they get escorted out, and then that's that part of the role playing. There is a awards day
That's what I
on
was gonna say.
Saturday, and it is YouTube, because I watch it. I don't go down for it.
Okay.
I watch it to see if any of the students that I judge make it, and they get glass, and that means they get to go to the international competition.
Okay.
And it's a couple hours long, but I'm happy to send you the link.
Yeah, okay. Very good.
In terms of the cost for the finances, the
Yes.
1,400/350 per student, is that just the?
We had 2 students attending, and then DECA opened it up to additional students. So there was no additional cost outside of the registration. I think it was originally like $1,200. So the reason that cost went up, I think your first information packet had $1,200. That was the difference. But that allows, obviously, Mrs. Christensen to have her room, and then the 4 students would obviously all be in the same room. So that was the increase in cost, was just the registration. It didn't cost us more to have rooms because we could put 4 in a room.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And then what is the district's part that they pay? Right? Because
Yeah.
this is the state competition.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what's the,
In the past, I believe you paid a certain amount for food and then the lodging.
in lodging, right? It's a certain, so that'll come off what this cost is.
And then Mrs. Christensen and I spoke about transportation, just because it's a small number. She was going to speak to parents to see if they would want to take them down, but obviously if we need to do transportation, that would just be the extra cost.
But is transportation in that state?
Yeah, I think the reimbursement would be if parents chose to drive, I'm assuming, unless you want to do a bus. It would just be for 4 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know, I'm just thinking.
We're open to either, so.
We have a budgeted account that we take it out of, but I mean, it's us paying. for
Tammy,
it.
is there something for transportation?
We just charge all, we charge all of it. Whatever, if parents request reimbursement for meals, transportation, hotel, registration.
Because
It is a line.
It's on the
It's on the
line,
line.
but it's a form, that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and she has the form. She did it last year too, the state expenditure form.
I think you're still working on the number of students going, and so you
Okay.
have that form.
Yes.
And we also are waiting, you put in for so many hotels, so once that gets approved, they have certain approved hotels, and that hasn't been given to us yet. So we picked 2 out of the 7 or 8 that they had, so we're just waiting for that information to come back as well.
Oh,
So there's no specified dollar amount at this point?
I think the rooms were, the amount that you have, that's the price. We just don't know which hotel they are putting us in because like I said, there's 4,500 students and advisors. So I think what they do is they have everyone put in their one or two first choice and then they kind of move schools around. So we haven't heard back yet what hotel we're at, but there's a list of I think 7 or 8 in which the students and advisors have to stay at.
And they just put you.
Yes, yeah, but I don't think there's an additional cost. My understanding is all the hotels are the same set price.
Anyone have any other questions?
Good luck.
All right, I'll spread the word. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Becky. Okay, next item on our agenda is our Board of Education Appreciation Month recommendations.
I'm going to give a quickie here, and then I'm going to head over to the podium to provide certificates and gifts. But overall, on behalf of the students and staff, we would like to recognize the Board of Education with certificates and a gift basket of appreciation to each board member for School Board Appreciation and Recognition Month, for your dedicated services to our students, staff, and the Richmond Community Schools community. So the gift baskets, which are arranged up here on the seating area to the side, each gift basket includes a gift from each building and or department, and they include a keychain made by an 8th grade student, or also a hat. In Mr. Sires' case, they thought that you might prefer the hat over the keychain. It was a little bit feminine, so they gave you a hat instead. For Richmond Middle School, it is a team puzzle piece keychain and a Tim Hortons gift card. From the high school, a glass mason jar mug. From the athletic department, some Richmond Blue Devils golf towels. And from food service, it's Thanks a Batch cookie mix in a jar. Transportation, an Amazon gift card. And from central office, journal and notebook. And then a little gift also for our 2 board representatives. And I'm going to move over to the podium, and I'll have you come up for your certificate and go grab your gift. Great, and I just wanted to thank you personally on my behalf as well, just to sincerely thank each of you for your service and leadership that you provide within our district. And again, personally, stepping into the role of interim superintendent has been both an honor and a responsibility that I'm deeply grateful for, especially for the support and trust that you've extended to me during this transition. And with the decision that you made, it's really allowed our district for a smooth and steady start. And again, I truly appreciate you welcoming me into the role. The commitment that you all bring to your work as board members often happens behind the scenes, but we know it has a direct impact on our students, our staff, and the full community. So thank you for your dedication in doing what you do, and I look forward to continuing this partnership with all of you. And so with that, I will call each of you up, and you'll be able to grab your certificate from me here, and then if you want to kind of go take a look at your basket, you're welcome to. The farthest one on this side is Mr. Steyer's. All right, and then we're thinking about trying to do a picture over here, so like Ray's kind of in the picture, so we're going to see if that works. All right, so Candace Cunningham. Sandra Fortuna. Thank you. Sarah Gillis. Deborah Mashan. Raymond Steyer, this one's for you. Danielle Sutton.
Kelsey McNamara. And we have over Elizabeth Chu. I'll have you set that on your spot. Thank you very much.
All right, we're gonna temp this picture.
Okay.
All right, so I don't know if you heard that, Ray. We're gonna take a picture in front of the big screen, so you're gonna be like next to us in the picture. All right, so let's see if we can do this. He's gonna be huge in the picture now.
Did I stand up really tall?
I can see you right.
Yeah, is that right?
Okay.
I know that looks funky, doesn't
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if at least one of them worked with Ray. I can see him, I just, oh yeah, he's in the background. Yeah, perfect.
Make sure you get one when Elizabeth comes too. Sure. Photoshop for it.
Okay, next item on our agenda is our blue double rays. Margaret,
No, I don't have anything to say.
Candace.
Yes, I wanted to say thank you to our amazing transportation department for all their hard work getting our precious possessions to and from school safely in the past couple of weeks. I know it's been trying and I appreciate it myself. Thank you very much.
Sandy? Just real quick, I went to the first food service breakfast challenge. That was very interesting. All of them were good. I think the winner was the high school, right? Yeah. And it was like banana split. It was very good. They all did a great job. I appreciate the invite ahead of the time. So, it was
Banana split what?
it was like yogurt, yeah, it was like, with fruit and stuff.
Bananas and
Yeah.
yogurt. and
They
then-
called it banana split because that's what it looked
Looks like,
yeah.
yeah.
But it wasn't a banana, it wasn't ice cream.
No ice cream.
Like that.
No, yeah, it was,
That's what it looked like.
it tasted not, it tasted similar. It was a lot of fruit, like the fresh fruit and,
Yogurt.
the yogurt, and they had the granola on the top instead of the nuts. I mean, it was, and then one of them was a smoothie thing, and another one was like a little sausage.
Turkey.
Or, yeah, turkey sausage, egg bake. But they all were very passionate about it, and they were all tasty, and I thought they did a great job, so thanks for the invite.
And they're gonna have another one, what they say, March?
April.
April?
Yeah, they'll be right after spring break.
And so that, when they do it, whichever one wins, that,
They get a little trophy.
yeah, but that's when
That
they're
goes
gonna
up there.
they're gonna start selling, you know, at the school, but,
Will it be next month, like in February? We'll start?
I
It's
guess.
usually relatively soon. I mean, whenever, they'll get like that next big order in, but yeah, it's relatively soon, yeah.
Thank you, Sandy. Sarah?
No, nothing.
Raymond?
No, thank you.
Danielle?
I'm good.
Okay, I too went to the food lunch thing. It was just really cool to talk with them about like what grade levels and what they were serving and what kids' favorite meals or favorite breakfasts were. I wish to thank them for inviting me. And again, as Sadie said, it was a good time and good food.
Yeah, and you just really tell like they just really care about the kids.
Yes. Yes, that's probably more than anything about the food.
Yeah.
It was what they talked about the
Yeah.
kids. And they know the kids and they know what they like. So it was very nice. It was very informative too.
and they work well too. You can
Yeah.
tell they like working with each other too, you know, that they're good. Each building is a good group working together.
Anyway, it was a good thing. Okay, next item on our agenda is our student board of ed rep.
I'm gonna make a motion to table
Okay.
this, Ms. Michon, to later in the agenda so
Okay.
that Elizabeth can get here.
Okay. Okay, thank you. As soon as she pops in, we will.
Someone has to support that.
Oh, someone supports it.
Awesome.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Oh, I have to do a roll call. Okay, Margaret.
Aye.
Sandy.
Aye.
Candace.
Aye.
Sarah. Raymond.
Aye.
Danielle.
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. So we will table it until Elizabeth shows up. Okay, interim superintendent and legislative update.
So first couple of district updates, so definitely snow days, snow removal seems to be on top of mind for everyone. So I will be meeting with our snow removal company just to check back in. I mean, it's just been difficult for everyone, and so appreciate the parents and staff keeping us abreast of, oh, there's a little spot here, there's a spot here that's not, quite clear. Of course, working hard again in collaboration with both our staff, our custodial staff, and our company that we hire for snow removal. But it's just, I mean, as you know, it's been relentless, and especially on those days where it's snowing continuously. We're looking at a number of new ways and just how can we be more efficient and make sure that everything is staffed. So definitely something we've been spending a great deal of time and energy on to make sure that everyone is able to get in and out of our building safely during these challenging winter days. Today did mark our 6th snow day, so we will continue to utilize a variety of data measures to determine when it is safe or not to bring students onto campus during inclement weather. Our Macomb County superintendents, especially those of us on this northern end here, are in constant communication with each other, providing the updates that we've heard, and all of us have our transportation teams out on the roads. Again, just constantly making sure that we're able to safely go to school. So a lot of folks involved in that. There's a lot of different pieces of data that we look at to make those decisions. So as of right now, school is on for tomorrow, everyone. And again, luckily, our state superintendent has indicated, he can only say so much right now, but he's definitely seems open to approving the 3 additional forgiven days that schools are able to ask for. He's been, again, he's said that in a number of different settings, that he understands how difficult this winter has been. So while we have reached the 6 days, I feel confident and comfortable still that we have a little wiggle room, and staying safe is the most important thing. So we will keep that in mind.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
The whole road commission thing, again, I would hope that would give us a reason to be able to get some forgiven days too, but how's that gonna work? I mean, was that just like a fluke thing, or is this something that might be happening again? Because someone told me there's not enough salt.
Well,
That's an issue.
I've heard a few mixed things. So one of the biggest things I would say that we're dealing with right now as our temperatures are so low is that when you get into that, 0 or certainly below 0, the salt doesn't do its job, right? So I think that's a big piece of what we're dealing with right now. I've heard mixed things about there being a true shortage, whether it's the shortage of salt, whether it's the shortage of staff to be out on the roads, right, that we know we're all facing. So, and we actually do at the county level, so at the ISD, when they bring all of us together to talk about, hey, what do we know, what are the facts? There's always a pre-conversation that they have with the road commission to bring to us so that we do know where they are they with clearing up everything. So at least we are getting those reports as quickly as we can. Again, whatever their reality is their reality, but we are, at least they keep us abreast as much as I feel like they can, or I'm able to find out as best I can through that network. It's not an answer, but at least, they let us know. But I don't know that helps us if they say, well, we don't have it, or it's not happening. That doesn't help us, but we're.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess with your email, my thought was just, well, that's not in our control, right?
It's not.
And so that, to me, would be a really good, forgivable, or at least an appealable thing.
I totally
can't.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Okay. And then that seems to be the sentiment from that piece. I just think too. So, like I said, and it's not where I want to be. I want us to be in school, but I feel like we're, it's recognized. So, all right, thanks. Absolutely. To start our meeting, I know President Michon did mention that just our condolences to our student that was in the accident. We know that mom has been improved and is released from the hospital, so we are originally having to communicate with other family members because both are in the hospital. So we haven't been able to move forward with communications with them, which is helpful. Our student does remain in the hospital and has, again, still a long road to full recovery, but our staff and our team, especially at the high school, is connecting with some other community volunteers that the family was involved with, providing some food support and just different pieces that, that they indicated was what they were in need of at this time. So we've definitely been in communication there. And, kind of starting to formulate those plans of when she's ready, what could, ongoing academics look like for her, because it will probably be a further time before she's back in school. So again, just to reiterate what Deb said at the beginning, we wish her the best and are thinking about her and doing the best, as much as we can think to do here on our side, which is barely scratching the surface, I'm sure, for what the family is going through. Another update, unfortunately, back to that cold weather piece, we did have a pipe that burst this morning, we recognized it this morning. Where did I go? At Lee. Are you there?
Yeah, I got you now.
Okay. At Lee, in one of our classrooms, a pipe in one of the bathrooms burst. It is, even though we did keep the heat up more than we normally do over the weekend, knowing that we had such cold weather coming in, the bathroom was heated, but where the pipe is, that we realized or recognize now there was some flashing that was damaged, so kind of the perfect storm. Those cold temperatures in an uninsulated small part of the wall caused it. And so that classroom had to be remediated, as long with one adjoining classroom and then two a little bit across the hallway. So we do have, again, that repair is underway. We're working with the plumbing already. Again, our team, I can't thank them enough for coming together immediately this morning. Everyone from all 3 buildings pulling together to make sure it got cleaned up as quickly as possible. So again, we will move that one classroom to another room just so that the piping can get fixed without interrupting the students' day tomorrow. But we anticipate that by Wednesday they should be back in the classroom. So we're able to get all of that together today. So again, we talked a little bit about this in our earlier meeting, but last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I did have the opportunity to attend the MESA Superintendent's Midwinter Conference, which was about 500 superintendents or central office folks from across the state in Kalamazoo, where we got to hear the latest updates, whether it was legal or funding, just what's hot and trending right now in education, and then again, just a variety of insights on a number of topics, vendors that are out there for different curriculums and resources we might be able to tap into, and again, talking about dollars for those things. So they got a very invaluable experience, and so one of the pieces that was very much highlighted throughout the event were legal updates and funding updates. So that is mostly where the legal updates from today are kind of pulling from. So update on 27L, that is the per pupil funding for educator compensation that the state this one time $203 million budget that's there for that. So for Richmond, it is $225,935 that we will have, or that we do have now available as an additional compensation for staff. That is what it has to be used for. We have until September of 2027 to expend that money. And right now, what we're kind of waiting on is some more details on FICA and retirement. Is that to be part of that money? Can the dollars be used to also pay for what would be our portion of FICA and retirement? That hasn't been made clear yet. Does it have to be part of a general salary? Can it be a different kind of bonus, a different kind of payout to staff? So those are answers they haven't yet provided. Or at least not made clear, because you hear different answers depending on who's present. So we need that clarity, and then also, they weren't really clear at the beginning. This part I think is cleared up a little bit as far as who are they considering the staff that is meant to receive these funds, because initially it was for bargaining units and bargaining unit members. Which again, we have several, of course, our teachers, parapros,
several units, and so secretaries, what have you, also our administrators are in a bargaining unit, so we needed that clarity initially. What they've come out and said is basically, well, we suggested bargaining units, but really it can be any staff member. I even heard somebody at the conference saying they were giving it to contracted help, which I think that seems like a stretch to me, but I mean, that was allowable. So again, that's kind of where we are. We need to have a little bit more discussion on, again, waiting on the retirement FICA piece so that we have a solid answer there, because that makes a big difference for us. And then, again, which staff are we talking about? And again, we've had, Tammy and I have had a conversation, and I've had initially the REA group just, had wondered, what this was all about. And so we've talked about the fact that it would be, pretty open, certainly anyone that is in a bargaining group, and I think we all tend to agree that shouldn't stop us. We have other staff that aren't in bargaining units, and we would want them to be supported as well,
So is it just money giving away?
So it's basically just,
So no
just bonus money.
Right, but how we give it and what the parameters are ultimately are up to us. And again, but it's just, we need to
How
be
many
really.
$1 million total?
Total across the state, 200 million. And for us, almost 226,000.
Isn't that a shame that that could just go into, I don't know, per pupil funding?
Something more realistic, right? Yes. Instead, we have to play these games in schools, but it will, it will get in hand of, I guess I can, at least it will be in the hands of deserving staff, and we know that they
Close it up
deserve
again.
a lot.
Oh, no, my screen froze up again, where everything just stopped, and so I just, see if I was still there.
Yep, we got you back. Any other questions I can answer for now on that? We'll certainly be talking more about this.
What is it now?
27L,
So you have until December 27th.
September. Yeah. And so I did let REA know that I think they were maybe expecting something quick, and I said, we got some answers to find out first, and I said, we have a little bit of time, so we're gonna make sure we have a good plan that's not gonna have any negative impact on us. We certainly wanna offer it and provide it as appropriate, but we don't wanna have to lose money in the long run either. The other, again, a big chunk of time was spent on some of the boilerplate items. And I know we've heard about these items before, but it was reiterated again, that MD could withhold 5% of a district state aid for noncompliance with the key requirements of making sure that all families do complete the federal reduced price meal applications, which again, of course, we work diligently to do, but they are really indicating that it has to be 100%. They began offering any students financial incentives to attend on count day, which we do not do. And then I know we've talked also in previous meetings about the public disclosure of any district-wide student survey questions that go out. So we haven't had any go out since this mandate was put in place, but if we, the next time we do a district-wide survey, we would have to place it on the website, the questions on the website. And parents would have the option to opt out, which we've always offered, but it's just that additional of that public posting of the questions.
So is it we could lose, or we will lose, or we may lose?
It says it requires, the language says MDU would be required to withhold 5% of a district's state aid payment for non-compliance of any of these requirements. Yeah, so 5% of our state aid. And then the last one is that we would have to notify parents if we were using a non-designated MDE evidence-based curriculum. All of our curriculums are MDE compliant, so we do not have to worry about that one. Moving on to, again, of course, 31AA was not as hot of a topic as it's been in the past, but the big sentiment there was just for all of us as district leaders and for you as board members, just for us to continue to be very diligent and mindful of reading through with it. The worry is that the language that they kind of tried to sneak into 31AA and those rights that they tried to take away, that they continue to hear comments like that being made with other bills and other funding sources. And so we just have to, it seems to be that these precedent setting measures, right? And so it's just, we might be at the beginning of this, and we just need to continue to be really mindful and make sure we don't, lose sight of anything. And again, I think for me, I know we don't want to we won't put ourselves in a position where, again, they're putting us in an unsafe or illegal position, but also then they're withholding money, and so we're back at that problem. So, scared was the word that was used over and over and over again during those conversations. So that is something we have on the top of mind.
I'm sorry, were those the other schools that didn't participate, did they get this huge increase in what they received?
They haven't. So right now, they haven't seen that yet, because if you recall, so the 31AA disbursements went out earlier. They went out in December, or was it November, before that extended opt-in or opt-out. So as of right now, technically, we have 31AA money sitting in our bank account, just as they do. So MD is still working out how they're going to recoup those funds from the districts that ultimately opted out. So we just, we're not touching any of that. And then once that step is finalized, or they figure that out, then they'll be able to let those other districts know what they're getting in addition, basically. So my guess is it's going to be a while for them, because they don't seem to have a good solution on recouping the funds right now. They couldn't give us any clear answer of what that was going to look like, when it would happen. Is it just going to be, they indicated it would be withholding from future state aid payments, but they can't say when, or will it be all 1 month? Like, they're just really not answer.
And there's no additional lawsuits or anything out there right now trying to.
So there is still we're not any further than we were in January. So we expect early February, it would be the next open date for it to be heard at the state level. So the federal side will wait to see what the state determines. So they're both still technically out there, but the state lawsuit will continue on again. So we should hear something more in February after that hearing, that initial one. And then another big topic was the cell phone bill, the House Bill 4141, and then on the Senate side it's 495. So according to the lawyers that we heard from there, it looks like they're pretty much at a compromise. So this is what they're expecting. They said this is what we could kind of, in the back of our mind, be planning on for that student cell phone bill that we've been hearing about. So basically, the bill would be adopted. If it is adopted, then we would expect to see several key exemptions. So it would be the cell phone ban would not apply to devices used for instructional purposes. So like, if a teacher had some kind of electronic setup in the classroom that wasn't going out to social media sites and texting and that kind of thing. So if we had something internal for instructional purposes, students that utilize their device for individual education programs that's part of their IEP, medically necessary devices, district-owned devices, emergency situations, and to kind of clarify that last one, districts would be required to develop and maintain a protocol of when and how students would be permitted to use cell phones during an emergency situation. So that is...
So they can't have them on them? Is that what they're saying? They can't come in the door? They can't... Who knows?
So right now, this is what it looks like the bill would say, right? So I don't have the answers beyond this.
So the districts will not be able to decide or have their own policy?
Well, we would still have to have some kind of our own policy in place. I mean, we would, again, right? Like like you said, it doesn't necessarily say, from what I see, it says they can't use it during the school day. Well, does that mean if I see a student with it tucked in the side of their backpack, but they are not using it, so we absolutely would still have to create a policy, because there are too many holes. This is not thorough enough to say, oh, a student has their phone, well, what happens, right? What does that look like? What are the steps? What's the progression of discipline, if you will? So there would be a lot that would go into this on our plate once it was approved. But this would be sort of the context that we would be expected to work with it, or with building the policy. So, That one seems to be, again, a different presentation, the things I heard at different times that were speaking out different things. This one came up as, yeah, that's probably one of the first bills that we'll see come through. So that's, that's where the focus has been. Yes.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Let's see. And then as far as categoricals, there was not as much on that because I think there's still a lot up in the air. But just kind of reminding us and pointing out that from general fund, we have seen a decrease, a 2.4% decrease in the past year, even though, we keep hearing how much more we are getting, but in categoricals, it was a decrease, whereas the school aid fund was a 2.3 increase, so they kind of just moved essential money that, almost equal money that used to be in that general fund over to the school aid fund, so that those categoricals. And then looking ahead to this year, the predictions are that that the general fund is projected to decrease by about only 0.4%, so not as big of a decrease as maybe we saw in the past, whereas school aid anticipated to increase by 2.3. So again, that concept is pulling more money away from the basic general fund and putting it into those categoricals where they are earmarked for certain pieces. We can only spend it on whatever that is, extended school day or on tutoring or whatever it might be. Kind of moving money around on us, and again, that goes back to that kind of same concept as 31AA. Those are the places where they can be a little tighter on the control, they can put other regulations in around what reporting we have to do with that money, those kind of things. So those are those kind of concerning areas for us to, again, keep our eye on. And that's it.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, Elizabeth, are you ready to go?
Oh, yeah.
You just ran in.
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to now do our Student Board of Education prep report. So ladies?
Elementary students and staff are getting ready to kick off Kindness Month, February 1st. This will involve receiving random acts of kindness cards, earning kindness stickers, and having a calendar that emphasizes and doing different random acts of kindness each day. One of our strong beliefs at the elementary school is kindness always wins. At the middle school, January 19th, teachers are participating in a professional development and begin norming grades to best support students. This will work in grade levels PLC. Sorry. Students are finishing NWEA. When they are finished, staff will sorry.
We put you on the spot.
I'm like, no, it's fine. Disaggregate and analyze the data to determine what supports are needed moving forward. Globe Bingo is scheduled for the past Friday, but has been postponed. We'll have a new date available soon. The students and staff of Richmond Middle School would like to wish the members of the Board of Education Happy School Board Appreciation Month. We are so grateful to have all of you.
For the high school, Johnston's Renaissance is holding a leadership summit at Lynn's Cruise this Wednesday with schools from Macomb County, in which we'll be taking a group of students to participate in this leadership opportunity. The inaugural Beat Black band performance will be taking place this Wednesday at 6 p.m. at Inland City High School. A big thank you to everyone who made this year's snow coming true success. Students participated in Spirit Week, our annual assembly, and the dance. It was a great week. For athletics, we have varsity cheer claimed first place at the Richmond Invitational at Adams and Ryan and the first BY Jamboree. 7th and 8th grade boys basketball and middle school competitive cheer began their seasons January 5th. The boys opened on the road at Inland City on January 19th, while the competitive cheer team will compete this weekend at Fort Huron Invitational. We had a great crowd for our snow coming games. The varsity girls played at 6 and the varsity boys played immediately after. Our JV girls got a win on that night with an overtime thriller over North Branch. Wrestling will host the alumni duels this Saturday beginning at 9:30. Also, like Ms. Michelle said, I would like to make an announcement for one of our students who is dealing with a tough time. I want to keep, obviously, her family, but also close friends, her thoughts, prayers, or whatever you practice. It's good to hear that her mom got out of hospital. It's a big step in their very long journey. They do have a GoFundMe, so if you have the means to donate, that would be extremely appreciated. I'm glad to hear that people are donating food and helping out, so that's also great. But yeah, it's very disheartening to hear what happened, but
Yeah, so it was one day last week, I can't remember exactly what day, the earlier part of last week, if you scroll back. If you can't find it, cancel.
It does say, I think, her and her mom's name and like shows a picture of what happened, so I think that might make it more recognizable.
Okay.
So,
Probably on the Richmond page too, I think it's.
Yeah, I think it is too.
I think that's one thing that makes this district and this community special is that everybody will chip in and everybody will do what they can. That is, to me, what I know and have been there with the community. So we're going to keep hoping and praying or whatever we need to do. Okay, next item on our agenda is items of interest from the board. So, Danielle? Okay, Raymond?
Yeah, so I was taking a look at the consent agenda just before the meeting, and I saw on there that previously Sarah had brought up and asked a question for an update on the standards-based grading, and I didn't have to see it on the agenda, and I apologize. It was just something I was just briefly looking over just before tonight's meeting, so I was just wondering if there's a plan to follow up with that at a future board meeting.
Yep, it will definitely be at a future board meeting. We haven't had a chance to get it together yet, and then again, kind of keeping those presentations more so for the earlier board meeting. But absolutely, yes, we will have that as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Margaret?
No, I think we're going to do it.
Okay. Candace?
Not a whole lot. I just wanted to thank all of the staff and whoever was involved in the special gifts to the board tonight. It is an honor to be a part of this community, and I just want to thank everybody for that. Your gifts are always very thoughtful and heartfelt, and so I appreciate it.
Sandy?
No, I'm all set tonight.
Sarah?
Yeah, there's something I did want to say. Sorry, you're kind of sick too, so I'm going to try to okay, so last meeting, we had our presentations from MLI and MASB, and that night, the Truth and Transparency page on Facebook had posted kind of a summary of what our meeting was and what everybody's position was after we kind of said, you know, which we preferred or what our thoughts were. And I just feel like there were some things that were posted that were inaccurate. And I just kind of, at least for myself, so I wanted to clarify, you know, for a page that is literally called Truth and Transparency, there was a lot of opinion and assumption-based comments there. And I just don't know that that is living up to its name, being Truth and Transparency. The first part, the actual post by Beth Stammer seemed accurate, it did seem factual, so I don't have an issue with that. She had commented that I preferred MLI, which is true. She didn't put any of the reasons why I preferred MLI, which I know I didn't hit my mic, and she had said, hey, I can't hear you guys. So that might be the reason that she didn't put the reasons why I preferred MLI. So I just kind of wanted to go through again why I chose MLI, because then in the comments, Jamie Green, who I like her very much, you know, she made a comment that said, this is unfortunate. MASB is an incredible organization that really transcends through all the stuff. They have a tremendous reach in finding a diverse group of well-vetted candidates. I couldn't agree more with that. I don't disagree with that at all. I think that MASB is a great organization. I have nothing against them. I don't think I said anything negative about them. Amy Lorraine, who is an admin of that page, then commented, that's why the majority voted no. And I just don't think that that is a factual, true statement. That's not, and I didn't vote no for MASB. I voted yes for MLI. And I didn't vote no, so to speak, for MASB because they were going to find us a well-vetted candidate. That doesn't even make sense. So I just kind of wanted to call that out. I did vote for MLI for the reasons that I stated that night, which are I liked that they had the mentorship program. I liked that everybody in that organization have been superintendents. I felt like the presentation was more professional. I didn't comment on the dress. I know Deb, you did comment on the dress, which also got, I know Beth came up and spoke after that. But I do feel like showing up in a suit does present better. I do feel that way. I felt like the whole presentation was more thought out, and I did feel as though they would represent us better. So I did not vote no for MASB because they were going to find us a well-vetted candidate. Doesn't make sense. The other comment was by Amy Lorraine. It said, I honestly was not surprised by what we heard tonight. It was very apparent for a majority on that board that they do not feel that taxpayers should have any say in who is in charge of their children's education. Again, I did not say those words. I don't think anybody on this board did, but I'm just going to speak for myself. In fact, I feel like we kind of all said the opposite. I feel like throughout this whole process that we've been talking about it, we've consistently said, I know Margaret has said on a couple occasions, we tell them what we are looking for. They don't direct us on how we are conducting this search. Just because the MASB might have said we're going to get community involvement and MLI might not have specifically said it, doesn't mean we are against it. We can tell MLI this is something we would like to incorporate into our search. And I definitely am open and hopeful that the community is going to have some input for us. Much like our students, I feel all input is good. All of these different groups in our community are going to have different viewpoints and ways of looking at it. So for the Facebook page to say that majority, now do I know that they were speaking of me? No, but I was part of the majority that voted for MLI, so I'm making the assumption they were speaking of me. I absolutely feel the taxpayers should have a say in who's in charge of their child's education. They're not going to have all of the say, but they're allowed to have input, and I would welcome that input. So I just kind of wanted to address that because I didn't feel like it was very truthful. I feel like they were making some assumptions and some broad statements about why I voted the way that I did, and I just wanted to clear that up.
Good for you, Sarah. Well said.
Thank you, Sarah. I don't have any comments tonight. I'm going to do my part during the public comment section. Okay, next item on our agenda is public comments. Since the last board meeting, the board has not received any emails in which to reply. I specifically wish to address the person who came to our podium to talk about some issues. In the show of truth and transparency, I wish to comment on statements made during public comments at our last board meeting regarding the email that was referenced. I want to clarify that I did not receive the email because it was sent to an incorrect email address. I am always willing to review and respond to correspondence when it is received through the appropriate channels. I encourage anyone with concerns to ensure they are using the correct contact information listed for me. It is on the website. I would also like to clarify that the district does, in fact, have an established dress code policy. This policy is included in our student handbook for our students and in board policy for our staff, both which are available again on the district website. If there are questions about the policy, please get a hold of our superintendent and share your thoughts or concerns. I too was bashed on both of those comments on truth and transparency, and I want to make it clear that what was written was not accurate. We value parent input and remain committed to open communication and accurate information as we work together for the best interest of our students. So I too wish to express concern what was put out because I don't believe it was true or transparent. Okay, at this time, any member of the public will have 3 minutes to address the board. Please sign in and state your name. If you wish a follow-up, please provide contact information on the public comments sign-in sheet. Are there any public comments? Being no public comments, we will move on to our next item on our agenda. I'm looking for a motion to go into closed session.
Pursuant to MCL 15.268, Section 8E of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, I move that the Board of Education go into closed session for the purpose of consulting with its attorney regarding trial or settlement strategy in connection with specific pending litigation, but only if an open meeting would have a detrimental financial effect on the litigating or settlement position of the public body.
Support. Thank you. Any discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Candace?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. For the public, we will be coming back out. We have 3 action items that we will do, and then we will adjourn. Very good. Okay, we're going back into open session at 8:59. Okay, next item on our agenda is our action items. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of a proposed overnight extended trip request.
I motion to accept the recommendation of the interim superintendent and approve the overnight extended student trip to Detroit, Michigan as presented at the January 26, 2026 Board of Education meeting and outlined in the attached documentation. Support.
Ray, was that you?
I did say so.
Okay, good,
Yes.
thank you. I'm sorry, I just didn't hear from any discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Sandy?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Candace?
Aye.
Margaret?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. I'm looking for a motion for the approval of a resolution for a special election on May 5th, 2026.
I move to accept the recommendation of the interim superintendent and approve the following resolution. Whereas, number 1, in the opinion of this board, it is necessary and expedient to ask voters whether to approve a bond project consisting of erecting, furnishing, and equipping additions to school buildings, remodeling, equipping, and re-equipping, and furnishing and refurnishing school buildings, acquiring, installing, equipping, and re-equipping school buildings for instructional technology, and preparing, developing, improving, and equipping playgrounds and sites. Number 2, this board estimates the necessary cost of the project to be $53,222,302. Number 3, it will be necessary for the district to borrow the sum of $51,800,000 and issue the bonds of the district. Therefore, the remaining funds to be derived from the investment of the bond proceeds. Number 4, this board intends to submit a proposition at a special election to be held on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Number 5, on or before 4:00 p.m. on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026, the board shall certify any ballot proposition to be submitted to the voters at such election to the election coordinator or coordinators designated to conduct elections within the district, the election coordinator. Now therefore be it resolved that number 1, a special election of the school electors of the district be called and held on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Number 2, the proposition to be voted on at the special election shall be stated on the ballots in substantially the form as set forth in Exhibit A. Number 3, the election coordinator is requested to A, utilize Macomb Daily, a newspaper published or of general circulation within the district for publication of notices in accordance with the election law requirements. B, utilize ballot proposition summary information as prepared by legal counsel in the forms of the notices of last day of registration and election in substantially the form as set forth in Exhibit B attached here too. C, provide a proof copy of the ballot to the district and its legal counsel in sufficient time to allow the ballot to be proofread prior to printing. 4, this board estimates the period of usefulness of the improvements for which bonds of the district in the amount of $51,800,000 are to issue to be not less than 20 years. 5, the secretary of this board is hereby authorized and directed to file a copy of this resolution with the election coordinator and with any election clerk or clerks designated to conduct elections within the district by 4:00 p.m. on Tuesday, February 10th, 2026. 6, all resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution are hereby rescinded.
Support. Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Margaret?
Aye.
Candace?
Aye.
Sandy?
Aye.
Raymond?
Aye.
Sarah?
Aye.
Danielle?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. Go. Margaret's gonna Why don't we do the other action item? and then-
Okay.
Let's do the last action
Okay.
item, and then we have one other thing.
All right.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion for the approval of settlement.
A motion to accept the recommendation of the interim superintendent and approve the mediation settlement of a former employee claim in connection with charge number 471-2025-02638 in the amount of $61,988.
Do I have support? Support. Any discussion? This will be a roll call vote. Sandy? Aye. Danielle? Aye. Sarah? Aye. Raymond?
Aye.
Candace? Aye. Margaret?
Aye.
I vote aye, motion carries. Okay, before we adjourn, Margaret's going to talk real quick. We need to get a committee going at the bottom.
Yep, I have talked with Billy and Deb, and I have volunteered to lead a committee for bond issue. So two other people would like to join with me. We're going to get some staff people together. We've got some ideas on, we're going to do a video, do some reaching out to voters, some different ideas. We're going to have a meeting next Thursday, the 5th, to invite staff to come. I met with Cheryl Jar and Christy Crampton from the Teachers Union. They're real excited. They've got some ideas themselves on what they want to do to help us get it passed. So they're going to bring their ideas together. So whoever would like to be, if you'd like to join me in doing this, but we're going to move forward. We're going to get this passed.
I wouldn't mind being on the committee for somebody else, I guess.
Okay. So Margaret, Sandy, Candace. Okay, so there's our three for our committee.
Oh, and I would like to do, if we could, for the next February, March, April, just have something on the agenda, just a little like bond update where
Under presentation.
Billy,
Okay.
Billy could give her a little update for the things that she's doing and what our committee, just so that the board gets an idea. And after we meet on the 5th, I'll send an email so that the rest of the board knows what the idea is and what we're doing. And I know, Ray, it's really hard being so far away to be able to do much, but
Right.
we can always put a sign in your yard, so at least we can.
Or you can put
get
it on
that
your
part
wall.
done.
Your
Yeah,
wall
right
behind
Yeah. But, so yeah, but I'm excited because they've got some really good ideas. And video, the high school video class, middle school video class is going to do some stuff, so got some really cool ideas.
Okay, the only, you'll let us know when things are going on, or when you need help, or you need us to do something.
Yep.
Okay, because you're going to have a meeting then with just the three of you on the 5th, is that what you said?
No, that's our.
That's our.
Invite people, yes.
Okay, so
One of
we
the
can
things.
have more than 3 board members there, right? No?
We
Can.
can.
You just
Great.
can't, you can have more than 3 members, you just can't talk board business.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Just so everyone knows, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to take the voter rolls
Yes.
and get people to maybe take a group, like maybe you take 30 people that you know, and you would be responsible for getting those 30 people to vote, since I think part of it was people didn't vote, that's one of the ideas that we were tossing around, so that's something that come on.
Margaret, anything else you had?
Nope, that was it.
Okay, being no further business, we are going to adjourn at 9:08.